Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. Will ISIS strike America on September 11, 2014? This is the message being sent by the mainstream media. And I've never seen fear propaganda at this level. And it's amazing because people accuse people in the alternative media of doing the fear mongering when it's really your own government, your own media controlled by the statist agenda that is responsible for the fear and sending that message of war loud and clear. Again, will ISIS attack America on September 11th? There was a report that 11 commercial airliners were stolen at Tripoli Airport in Libya. You know, the same place that the President of the United States was running guns into Syria and allowing the Caliphate and ISIS, the violent terrorist organization, really to grow in the first place. 11 commercial airliners stolen in Tripoli. In fact, the pictures are all over social media. And the mainstream media is linking this to another future September 11th style terror attack. You know when planes go into buildings, allegedly, even though Building 7 just crumbled to the ground in a perfect demolition and was never hit? You see, they've got to amp the fear card. They got to raise the alert level. It's white hot. And that's the message they're sending to the American people. I even read a report in the mainstream media that said that 9 out of 10 Americans could potentially die if and when ISIS strikes America's electrical grid. 9 out of 10. Almost 100% of the U.S. population massacred as a result of a potential and possible attack by ISIS. Now, of course, this is fear propaganda. Of course, the Obama administration has been building this narrative with people getting their heads chopped off, even though that first video with James Foley was a fake. And then the second video, bullshit, right? Fear propaganda, they're amping it up. You see, where George W. Bush was an overt warmonger, he just went in and started invading places like Iraq for no good reason. Obama is covert. And that's why he's been building covertly ISIS. He's been helping them grow. That's what running guns from Libya into Syria, you know, the scandal that was Benghazi Gate and Christopher Stevens, that's why he's allowed this to happen. Because it gives him a reason to start the limited airstrikes, which have now mounted into the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of airstrikes in Iraq and soon to be Syria. You see, this is all a part of destabilizing Bashar al-Assad's regime. And you see, I think people are beginning to understand the motive here. I think that they're beginning to understand that ISIS came to power because of the United States. You see, the United States props up dictators like Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein. They get them to work for them for a while, and then after they're finished with them, they cut their heads off. They murder Muammar Gaddafi. They get rid of Saddam Hussein. This is all a part of the gross destabilization campaign that makes up the war effort in the Middle East. And although people are putting the pieces together like a puzzle, they're beginning to understand that the United States government is responsible, that Barack Obama, no different than George W. Bush. The question that people are failing to ask is why? Why does the United States continue to destabilize this part of the world? You see, the answer to that question, honestly, is pretty complex. But we can simplify it because we have a war of two worlds right now, folks. We have Western civilization and really the Christian West. And then we have everybody else. And we have parts of the world in the Middle East, what the United States portrays as Islamic extremism, fighting each other. In fact, Phil Robertson's of that great show, Duck Dynasty, that millions of Americans like to tune into, said, either convert them or kill them. Those were his exact words regarding ISIS. Pretty strong opinion, but you see, their opinion is the same of us. And it's why they're actively and why they intend to kill us. But we're portraying the same message back. You see, this is a war of worlds. This is a war against Western civilization, crony capitalism, the insolvency that makes up the United States today, bank bailouts into infinity, 0% interest rates, this soulless Kim Kardashian world that nobody really gets anything out, and everything structurally at the core is rotten, versus this religious extremism, this sectarian violence in this part of the world warring with each other. And it's why NATO has structured a war effort for some time against these countries. It is why they've propped up dictators and then killed them. It's why they continue to destabilize this part of the world. Because it's a part of the agenda. Again, George W. Bush, overt about it. Barack Obama covert in his mission. They're taking out the entire Middle East, folks. They're taking out places like Somalia and Northern Africa. This is all happening, and it's happening now, in real life and in real time. So when I ask the question, will ISIS attack America on September 11th? I don't necessarily know the answer, but I know it's a question of when, not if. When these people strike, it will be devastating. We could argue that they've already attacked the Western core. What do you think September 11th was? You know, the United States government, and part of building their narrative, I think would actually, from a sinister perspective, actually like the fact that ISIS attacked America because it would rally the war effort. They'd use it as propaganda. In fact, they might just engineer it themselves, just like they did September 11th, 2001. That's what we're dealing with, folks, the New World Order. A war of worlds, battling it out. Whether or not you want to acknowledge this at end times, as end times or not, it's the truth. It's the reality. And it's a matter of time before these people strike us at home. And your government is responsible for catalyzing this effort. It gives the Obama administration a reason to attack these countries, and it's why they've allowed ISIS to grow. It's why they've allowed Libya to be toppled into chaos. It's why they've helped the revolution and re-revolution in Ukraine. We are at war with the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This is about money. This is about economics. This is about a war of two different worlds, Western civilization, Islamic extremism. And it's all coming together. What happens next? God forbid ISIS strikes America at the core and does bring down our grid. And 9 out of 10 every Americans perish as a result. Who's to blame for that? You know, you need to start asking yourself these questions. Will you fight in places like Iraq again, the same country Obama said he was going to withdraw from? Will you fight in Syria? Because it's a matter of time before ground troops are back, folks. You can't win a war against ISIS without ground troops. In addition to limited airstrikes, they need forces on the ground. And the question you need to ask, will you be fighting? Will you be fighting for crony capitalism and bank bailouts here in the United States of America? This structurally rotten system? You know, we need to look at our own problems here in the United States. We need to flush out the criminals of Washington, D.C. today. We need to do something about that first. These people at the top of the upper echelon of Washington, D.C., folks, have lost all of their credibility, and they cannot be trusted. They are responsible for these heinous acts, and they are responsible for future heinous acts. And again, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. ISIS, the new boogeyman, the new Al-Qaeda, the new target for self-destruction. I'm Christopher Green. Get this out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor. Check out our sponsor, ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com, the leading innovator in water filtration systems. Get all of your water filters at ProPureUSA.com. Click the link below right now.